It's Tuesday, December 10th, and this is now on HNN.
Another number of gunshots. We're going to back up again.
We're following breaking news. Police officers have been shot in a Jersey City standoff. Heavy gunfire is being reported. We'll have the latest.
There's something really wrong with this society.
There's been another violent purse snatching here on Oahu, and the victim is once again an elderly woman.
I can only imagine what it was like for the people that were there at the time.
Plus, the death toll rises following a powerful volcanic eruption on New Zealand's White Island.
The House announces 2 articles of impeachment against the president. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill with their historic decision and the president's reaction.
These stories and The Rock is rocking the red carpet, coming up on This Is Now.
All right, we begin this hour with breaking news. You're looking at a live picture we're showing right now of Jersey City, where there's multiple casualties after a shooting investigation is ongoing right now as we speak. We're going to get you to the very latest on everything that's going on there. Ashley, what do you know?
So authorities say several people have been shot and killed, including a police officer. And it all started with a homicide investigation that went wrong. And I'm told we have some really good reporter sound.
Yeah, we just had this clip come into our newsroom. It was actually a reporter doing a live shot, and then it all unfolded around him. We'll just play it out and let you listen in here.
As this ongoing shootout with police, you just heard another number of gunshots. We're going to back up again. You hear, the fire is getting louder and faster right now. We are behind the police tape still. This is happening at MLK in Bidwell, inside a bodega. Chopper just arrived over scene as well. As you can see, dozens of onlookers out here from the neighborhood who are shooting cell phone video as this is happening. And now the gunfire increased again. You can smell the gun smoke from here.
It was like, my principal was like, teachers and staff were going on lockdown. And when he said that, all of us just sat, like, all of us just put in it like a tuck-in row, like a tuck. And I was nervous, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was just very nervous. And then I heard gunfire, boom, boom, boom. And then after that, we just like put our heads over our like hands over our head. And then we just like wait until everything was secure. And then when everything was secure, I saw cops, like cop cars, like driving very fast, very fast.
And again, officials say the shootout began as a homicide investigation. They say an officer approached the suspects in the investigation and was shot and killed. SWAT teams, state police, and federal agents responded to the scene, and police blocked off the area. Nearby schools were put on lockdown. Officials say the 2 suspects were shot and killed. They say 3 civilians who were inside a bodega where the shooters fled to were also killed.
Of course, we're going to stay on this story and bring you the very latest coming up in our evening newscast on KHNN and KGMB.
Now, meanwhile, it has been 6 days since a sailor shot 3 people and then killed himself at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. And there are still many unanswered questions. Our chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano, has the latest.
The Navy spokesman said in a statement, all sailors are screened for depression, anxiety, and suicidal tendencies ahead of being part of the force. The spokesman could not answer specifics about the investigation. We reported last week the 22-year-old had disciplinary problems and had to take anger management classes. Romero was still assigned an armed watch, a sentry duty. A military law expert says there have been other similar situations, also with devastating results.
Military personnel have been trained at great expense to the taxpayers. If they have somebody who's not towing the line or is having difficulty performing the job, they may have to get rid of that person. They may be slow to get rid of that person.
Civilian workers Vincent Capoy Jr. and Roldan Augustin were both killed. Roger Nakamine is still recovering in the hospital. We hope to get more answers from the Navy regarding policy and procedures to determine if a sailor should not be allowed to be armed or on sentry duty. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
All right, more local news now. We're following a string of local purse snatchings. This is just blowing up on social media, too. I mean, I saw it have over several hundred shares when we posted this video yesterday, and now we've learned of yet another.
Yeah, so the latest one, police say an 80-year-old woman was hurt when thieves stole her purse just before 6 a.m. yesterday in Chinatown. They say the woman was sitting on a wall near College Walk and Kukui Street, waiting for her Tai Chi class to start, when two men approached her, started talking to her, then grabbed her bag. They say she fell and cut her chin when the crooks ran off. Meanwhile, another violent purse snatching in Kalihi over the weekend. Our Allison Blair has this exclusive story.
Neighbors tell me that 75-year-old woman is recovering tonight from a fractured pelvis and injuries to her face. Surveillance video shows the woman walking down Nio Street on her way to church just before 6 Sunday morning when a white SUV with its headlights off rolls up beside her. Two people exit the back seat. One man seems to sneak up behind the 75-year-old, violently jerking her to the ground before dragging the elderly woman across the pavement, still tangled in her purse strap. Sources say the woman managed to let go as the suspect went to kick her. The group of robbers then sped off, leaving her lying in the road.
There's something really wrong with this society.
Nancy Both was on her way to work Sunday morning and says she drove past the victim minutes before she was attacked.
And I saw an elderly woman with a few bags, like she was walking down the hill, and I just waved.
Both says someone else discovered her injured on the side of the road.
Apparently the neighbor who was walking the dog found her on the side of the road and helped her, got her home, and called HPD and EMS.
Sources say this purse snatching is one of at least 6 robberies that happened in town just this weekend. Around midnight in Makiki, a cab driver was robbed of his cash, then carjacked at gunpoint. No word yet if police have recovered the stolen taxi. And in Waikiki, sources say a man was found barely conscious, bleeding profusely from the head after being beaten by a man who got away with his fanny pack.
It's to the point where I hate to say, you're almost looking over your shoulder.
Both says the recent wave of violent crime is all the more reason to be vigilant, watching out for yourself and your neighbors, too.
All we can do is just share the aloha and watch out for each other.
If you have information about any of these crimes, you're asked to call Honolulu Crime Stoppers. In Kalihi, Allison Blair, Hawaii News Now.
And a lot of you aren't watching us on Facebook Live, so for our podcast listeners and those who are just listening only, you know, that story referenced a lot of video there, and that's why we posted it to our website, so you can go and take a look at it and see if you recognize these suspects, and if so, contact authorities.
That video is so difficult to watch.
It's tough to watch.
It makes me so angry. On to politics now. So House Democrats unveiled 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump this morning: abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The president insists he's done nothing wrong. Here's the latest from Natalie Brand.
To take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Democratic chairs investigating the president announced 2 articles of impeachment. The first, abuse of power, stems from their argument President Trump pressured Ukraine to announce an investigation into political rival Joe Biden.
That is exactly what President Trump did when he solicited and pressured Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 presidential election.
The second charge against the president is obstruction of Congress for blocking White House officials from testifying, as well as access to documents.
If allowed to stand, it would decimate Congress's ability to conduct oversight of this president or any other in the future.
The articles of impeachment against the president are narrow in scope, in part to garner support from more moderate Democrats. There's no mention of bribery, extortion, or obstruction of justice.
President Trump once again tweeted witch hunt and insisted he did not pressure Ukraine. House Republicans denounced the impeachment process as predetermined and partisan.
They wanted to overturn the results of the 2016 election, and so they were committed to impeaching him, regardless of the facts. That's been going on from day one.
The Judiciary Committee is expected to debate its 2 articles of impeachment later this week, with a full House vote expected next week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz gave his reaction to the impeachment articles on Sunrise this morning. Here's what he had to say.
I was a little surprised that they kept it so narrow. Now, there are arguments for and against keeping it as narrow as they did, but they went ahead and kept this really tight. You can read it in maybe 3 to 5 minutes. I just read it, and I'll just give you one line from it, which I think tells the whole story. Using the powers of his high office, President Trump solicited the interference of a foreign government, Ukraine, in the 2020 United States presidential election. And I think that is the crux of what he did. It's not just that he solicited interference, because, of course, he did that as a candidate, but the magnitude of the sitting U.S. president, who has the responsibility for executing foreign policy, to sort of hijack and corrupt not just the appropriations process, but the State Department and the Defense Department itself for his own personal gain, is exactly what the founders contemplated when they established the power of impeachment. They were worried about a commander-in-chief colluding with a foreign government and taking over our foreign policy apparatus for the personal gain of the president. They contemplated this situation more than 200 years ago, and here we are.
Senator, that seems to be what we're hearing and what we're reading this morning, is that it's very interesting that they kept it so narrow in scope with just those two articles. Do you think this hurts or helps this process as it continues to move forward?
Well, I don't know the answer to that because, of course, I mean, one of the things that I was so passionate about is that the president continues to violate the Constitution, and there's a clause in the Constitution called the Emoluments Clause, but basically it says you can't take money from foreign governments if you're the president of the United States. You can't take a cash bribe, but you also can't be in any kind of financial transaction, and the founders understood what they were doing there because they didn't want a president to be compromised. The President of the United States is clearly violating the Emoluments Clause. That is not included in these articles of impeachment, but I think there is some wisdom in keeping this tight, and I think Speaker Pelosi is probably making a judgment partly based on what will keep the Democratic caucus together and maximize her vote count.
All right, Senator Brian Schott speaking there this morning on Sunrise.
And this just in, an appeals court has rejected Bill Cosby's bid to overturn his sexual assault conviction. The ruling today is being closely watched as Cosby was the first celebrity convicted in the Me Too era. Cosby's spokesman attacked the ruling as a, quote, political scheme to destroy America's dad. The state Superior Court says the trial testimony of 5 other accusers was evidence that Cosby had, quote, unique sexual assault playbook.
All right, now we have an update on that story that's really disturbing out of New Zealand.
So the death toll continues to climb after Monday's volcanic eruption, and police say the 8 people still unaccounted for are most likely gone. 47 people, including 9 Americans, were on White Island when the volcano came to life. This report comes from Ramy Inocencio.
During their rush to escape, tourists shot video of White Island moments after it blasted open. The violent eruption sent plumes of searing hot smoke and ash more than 12,000 feet into the air. No. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern addressed Parliament Tuesday.
Police and Defence Force personnel have undertaken a number of aerial reconnaissance flights over the island since the eruption. However, no signs of life have been detected.
New Zealand police say they have photos showing the location of 6 unidentified bodies that are still trapped on the island, covered in ash. Unstable conditions have placed recovery efforts on hold. White Island is about 30 miles off the coast. The sky is clear now, but on Monday, these boats were packed with tourists fleeing the erupting volcano. Many of them were wounded, some with severe burns. Russell Clark was one of the first responders on the scene.
I can only imagine what it was like for the people that were there at the time. They had nowhere to go, and an absolutely terrible experience for them.
This includes newlyweds Lauren and Matthew Urey, who are now being treated in area hospitals. Lauren spoke with her parents before leaving on that hike.
Had my daughter known that there was any risk involved, she wouldn't have gone.
And New Zealand's Geoscience Agency says there's still a 50-50 chance of a second eruption happening in the next 24 hours. Meantime, out there in the darkness, White Island still stands, billowing toxic steam and ash. Ramy Inocencio, CBS News, Whakatane, New Zealand.
All right, we're now taking a live look outside at Pipeline, where there's still a lineup out there. The Pipeline Pro is underway. We're going to get a check of your weather. Let's check in with Guy Hoggy.
How's it on this Tuesday? I'm Guy Huggy with your HawaiiNewsNow.com forecast. We've got very clear skies out there. We could get some afternoon showers for some interior spots, but widespread rain not an issue. You can see it's a little damp for the east side of the Big Island this morning, but we are expecting mostly sunny skies today across the state, especially for the leeward sides. High temperatures running into the middle 80s, even warmer over in Kona at 86, and we will get some afternoon clouds and maybe a few afternoon showers. Now the surf is big, it's booming. The Billabong Pipeline Masters is on 12 to 18 up in the country, 8 to 12 down on the west side. Big, dangerous, and life-threatening. And we've got great conditions early this morning because of the light winds. Maybe an afternoon sea breeze is expected. So we've got these light winds. They'll be with us through today, and then tomorrow they switch to light easterlies. Stronger trade winds coming in with a cold front. Increasing clouds and showers Thursday, Friday, and to some extent Saturday. And look at those winds. Very brisk and breezy Friday and Saturday, slowing down on Sunday. Keep it here on Hawaii News Now. We'll have all your severe weather updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Guy.
All right, so last week we learned that Kaka'ako Kitchen is closing after 25 years. Well, today there's news of another shop at Ward Village going away. Here's Lacey Denise.
Another big box store will be shutting its doors on Oahu. Bed Bath & Beyond at Ward Village is expecting to close by early 2020. No exact date set just yet. However, the retail company said their Pearl Ridge Center location will stay open. This Ward Village location is one of at least 60 stores that the company planned on closing. This comes amid growing competition from online retailers, causing a string of stores to shut down. Recently, Pier 1 announced they'd be closing all 7 of their stores in Hawaii. And earlier this year, Sears closed its Windward Mall location.
Oh, thank you, Lacey. Another closure.
I know.
And you know what? Bed Bath & Beyond, didn't they have the coupons that didn't expire?
Oh, the 20%
Yeah.
off coupons you got like every week.
Cash those in, Ashley. Seriously.
Well, bottled water sales have gone flat as consumers turn to those environmentally friendly, reusable water bottles. So Food and Beverage Corporation, Nestle, is planning to introduce a new slate of products next year to boost sales. One of the products is a canned sparkling water that has the same amount of caffeine as a cup of coffee using green tea extract.
Well, I like caffeine, don't like coffee, so
I know, but
that works.
what would it taste like?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
The company also plans to launch waters infused with minerals like magnesium, zinc, and potassium with 0 artificial sweeteners or sugars.
All right, I'm really excited about this next story because I'm an Ellen fan. I think
too.
A lot of people like her out there, and she's up to something new that's happening right here on HNN.
That's right. She has a new show on NBC and will be spreading some life-changing joy this holiday season. Ellen's 3-part series called Ellen's Greatest Night of Giveaways airs tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, and will feature guest celebrities like Michelle Obama, Jennifer Aniston, and Justin Timberlake. Now, the holiday show goes to great lengths to deliver heartwarming and incredible gifts to unsuspecting but very deserving people, with some being surprised at home, at their work, and in the studio audience. Now, the talk show host warns viewers to get those tissues ready.
Wait. Oh, no. Sorry, Ashley. She's definitely not coming to visit us.
Are we?
I was just wishful thinking. I'm looking at the door longingly, just being like, please, Ellen, please walk in.
It starts tonight, so. And tomorrow and Thursday. So.
Hey, Ellen, if you're watching, surprise us tomorrow. We're really deserving of a prize. Please. Christmas wish. Make it happen. Also, a good Christmas wish. I'd like to meet The Rock.
Oh, have you seen the Jumanji with The Rock?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. It's
but
one of my favorite movies.
Partially filmed here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is so funny.
And now part 2.
It is so funny. But the stars of Jumanji, The Next Level, walked the red carpet last night at the premiere in Los Angeles, and they spoke to the media and fans about the upcoming film.
Not only was it fun for us as actors, but also the challenge is you're embodying icons who the world knows and identifies with, who have a very specific acting style and cadence, right?
Yes, very true. I mean, look, you can't ask for a better group of guys to emulate, you know? Both of them.
My fans.
No, I think they said
they're
Kevin.
All my fans. Hey,
I think I heard him say Kevin.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, when I come out. Right now, we're about to roll into 2020. So to have something so positive happen at the tail end of 19 is big. To be talking about this movie right now, to be celebrating it tonight, all of these things are things that I'm taking in. Completely new respect and admiration for it.
Very cool. You know, I was a fan of the Robin Williams Jumanji.
Oh, that was a great one
so
too.
Cool.
But The Rock's first one, It's hilarious. I mean, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, you're just cracking up the whole time. You need to watch it.
I will.
And
now
I'm so excited for the
something-
second one.
I'll watch them both this holiday season. I make that a promise to you. All right, let's go outside. Look at those waves
Ooh.
building. It's going to get a little higher over the next 24 hours, according to Guy. But right now, contest is underway up there at Pipeline.
Beautiful day. Have a great day, everyone.